Giles Marston, special adviser at Her Majesty's Treasury, strode out across the stretch of open common, weaving slightly from the 6 pints he'd polished off with his colleagues in the Red Lion pub on Whitehall. He picked through the pieces of gossip he'd heard that evening. The new administrative assistant, a pretty young thing called Sally, had let slip that HMRC resource constraints were driving the threshold for investigations into tax evasion even higher. Clive, who became very loose-lipped after his 3rd glass of Chardonnay, mentioned that a special Russian sanctions team had been assembled, drawing in expertise from across government. Putin had invaded Crimea, and they were talking about what was going to happen next. Marston knew both subjects would be of interest to Fairweather. He reminded himself to jot down the details as soon as he got home. His mind was occupied with money. His own money, not the billions in treasury funds that kept him busy during office hours. The clandestine payments he'd been receiving for just over a year were still coming through like clockwork. But he had discovered that unexpected wealth brought its own unique challenges, especially when that wealth had to be hidden from sight. It was almost a full-time job. He was thinking about opening a new account just to be safe. 2 accounts, one in Switzerland, one in the Bahamas. He knew better than anyone which countries provided information to the British government and which didn't. Just last week, he'd seen an official letter from the Central Bank of the Bahamas refusing to share details of an account that the British government claimed was being used by a software company to hide its assets from sight. A holiday to Nassau might be on the cards. Make an appointment with a banker who wouldn't ask questions, set up an account, dump money into it. Easy. A group of young men waved and called out to him. He glanced across and saw their football bouncing in his direction. He let it run past before continuing on his way, ignoring their angry shouts. Marston had told himself he'd save 100 grand and then stop. That point had come and gone in 2 months. When you had it, 100 grand really didn't seem like very much. In fact, once you had got used to flying business, wine from Berry Brothers, the way his new Tesla sped up away from other cars at the traffic lights, even 200 grand seemed like small change. Now, he was aiming for a straight million. He'd crossed the halfway line, and this new contract Fairweather had told him about meant that there was going to be plenty more in the coming months. There was even the possibility, according to Fairweather, that Marston would meet the client, something he had never done before.